initially I was biased. I was looking at it. Of course, I had a lot of questions and I was noting down all the questions that I had. But then I realized that it was so precise and it had all the information that when I went back to my questions, I could find the answers. So we read names in two ways. Okay. One is when we read it in our head and then when we read it loud. So when I read it in my head, I was like, wow, it's a cool name, like Quicker, like, Bumble, like Tinder. It's a cool name. But then when I said it with my mouth, DropD, and I was like, wow, this is DropD. And that was like my eureka moment. I think I found it at that moment that we were actually talking about a much deeper philosophical, mythological concept the moment I said it. And a lot of it started making sense, Sunil. With the name itself, I think a lot of it started making sense because for me, I have great respect for this mythological figure, Draupadi, because she was a woman who was a giver. She was a woman who could very beautifully and empathically share her resources. All her resources, whatever she had, her beauty, her sexuality, her services, all that she could provide, and she could give it to multiple people the way they wanted her. And I thought that was a beautiful concept, and that's a very beautiful concept of polyamory also, that you give what the other person wants and you're able to share your love with multiple people without disturbing any of those very sweet, delicate bonds that you share with the other people. When I say contemporary, I talk about 20 years from today's date, 20 years before, and today, 20 years later. That's contemporary. The trend that everybody is observing is that landscape of relationships, of sexuality, is completely changing. And I think probably we are at the middle of that contemporary time where we have seen it happening. We have seen that acceptance slowly creep into the society, the level of society, not so much probably at the higher level of governments and, how the government is accepting these things. But there's a deeper level of, these alternate sexualities and how we love each other and how we want to interact with each other. So the landscape is definitely changing, and your white paper, DropD, is probably the answer to that changing landscape, because there is a need for a product in the market to cater and to accept and make space for all these people who want to now go in this, who are already in that experimental zone, but they want something more, like they need a solid ground to grow in now, Precisely identified and explained in the white paper. So if you go deeper, each of those 6 forces that you talk about are beautifully explained, right where with the data and everything. And I feel that those are really, like, when we are talking about something, we don't see them, but once you start reading, you realize that yes, they are the ones that are making that shift happen. And one of the very interesting thing is when you say boredom, right? And rise of social network. After that, ekdam suddenly you talk about that peer-to-peer network, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting because both of them somewhere are interdependent, but again very unique, because we get bored, we go to the social network, we get bored. So it's like something that is a phenomena that we are observing right now. So yes, I feel that these forces definitely are what are going to define the relationships in the future as well. And now, in your white paper, there's a point where you say that neither we are striving to become a social network like Facebook. We don't want to outdate Facebook. Neither are we here to compete with the dating apps, nor we are providing like a properly crypto place or a financial place. But what we are doing is we're combining all of them. So you post like social network, you become a person who speaks their mind like a social network, you interact with other people like the dating apps, you find your mate like the dating app, and then the third element, which is the monetization of the entire thing, you get rewarded for it. There is skin in the game. That's what's beautiful about it. Because if you look at Facebook or if you look at any of the dating apps, the only difference, the biggest difference is that there is no skin in the game. There is no dog in the fight for the people. Why should I stay connected with a certain person? Or why should this person value me more? But because we get crypto and finances into the picture, there is more skin in the game. You get rewarded for good behavior, and you might lose money or you might lose status if your behavior is incorrect or it doesn't go well with the norms that you set. So that was very exciting for me. That's very interesting piece of information and makes me value the product more, that you want that retainership of the user and you want them to stick around for a longer period of time, and that answer came from social media, the strict structure of social media that you built. I thought it was extremely exciting again. I'm starting every statement with I'm extremely excited about it. But I am. See, if I look at the traditional dating apps, I see there is no certain demarcation, for who is there for what. Okay. And it is very difficult. And by the way, with great difficulty, you find out why this other person is here. Because people are not very forthcoming about this idea, why they are there. But with this app, DropD, we make it crystal clear why you are here. So I am a senior and I'm looking for love. This is what I am. And now I'm in this zone to look for love. So I am very clear why I'm here. The other person who's matching with me is also clear why this person is here and what background this person carries. Okay. I am here for an open relationship. I'm very clear about it. What am I looking for? Am I a homosexual man? Do I want to be in a polyamorous relationship? Do I want to be in open marriage? So all these elements are beautifully defined in the app. So you see a profile, and obviously the algorithm also knows who you are, and it matches you with the right person. And you don't have to do that groundwork there because the app does it for you.